My hero.
I let you be alone and I'm so trapped all on my own. It's like I'm stuck without a home. I need some love, I'm on my own. And baby, I'm falling for you. Baby, I'm falling for you. Baby, I'm falling.
Hello and welcome to Get Real with Ralph. We have a very exciting show today. In our studio, we have from Most Performance my regular co-host, David Mariani. And as our special guests today, we have a couple of music artists from Kenosha, Wisconsin that we want to introduce to you out there. Some of you may have heard the music, and for those of you that haven't, the clip right before we had our opening credits was this young man right here, Young Trench. And Young Trench is how old?
I'm 19.
19 years old, making music here as well as doing some camera work for a couple of other local social media stars. We have also with him his producer, Yoden.
Yes.
Yoden, how old are you?
18.
18. And how long have you been mixing music?
Well, mixing vocals about a year and a half, but producing and all that stuff about 6 years.
Gotcha, 6 years. Yeah. And along with them as well, the man who swings the hammer, makes sure that they stay out of trouble, we've got Jam. Is that an accurate depiction? You keep everybody out of trouble, make sure everybody stays in line?
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good. So let's get real. Tell me, how did you start making music? This kind of music?
Okay, so I've been writing music since I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do music. I was in choir and everything. I was with your son and everything. So like, it's just something I've always wanted to do. I looked up to a bunch of artists. So like, I originally messaged Tristan one day when he made music, and I was like, yo, can I come to the studio? And he was like, yeah. So I went there, started making music about 2 years ago. Definitely the best decision I've ever made.
What was the first thing you actually recorded and put out there for people to listen to?
Okay, the first thing I recorded was the song called Now, and it was so rushed. Like, I went to the studio for the first time. Tristan got this beat from a bigger producer. He was so excited. So he was like, yo, let's record this. And then we recorded it, and he dropped it that day.
Got it.
Crazy.
Is it still out there?
No.
No, you pulled it off?
He did. He was like, he doesn't have any music up anymore.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
You still have a recording of it somewhere?
Wait, what?
You still have a recording of that somewhere?
He probably does.
He does. Gotcha.
He's got all the old stuff.
Gotcha. Do you still perform the old stuff?
I've actually never performed yet.
You've never performed live?
No.
So what are the challenges? Because your genre of music is, I would say, it's like a combination of R&B and EDM almost. It's got a lot of produced electronic sounds, but then you're actually singing. Yeah. So how would you go about putting together a live show?
Well, basically, I want my first performance to be like decently big, and like I just want to make sure I'm getting what I deserve, and like I want to make sure my first performance is actually giving me exposure. I'm not just gonna perform for people who already know me. I'd like to perform for people who have no clue who I am, so that way I can draw in like the fans that will see me perform. That's how I want to do it.
Okay, all right. There's a couple of schools of thought of that, and if you don't mind, I'll throw some advice out there. Yeah. But we'll get to that. But I think there's some things that you can do to really leverage, because I've listened to your music and you're very talented, and you have a very talented producer here who's done a good job of making you sound even better. Yeah. How did you get started mixing music for other people?
So basically, like, I was kind of doing a lone wolf thing for a long time, making music by myself. And then, Tristan was the very first person to, like, drop a song.
Tristan Jazz.
So, yeah, so I've been making music for a long time.
So he was making music himself?
Yeah. Yeah,
really?
He was making music himself, and I was making music for a long time, but he was the first one to drop something. So kind of like when that happened, I was like, damn, I need to start dropping stuff. So that's when I started hitting up him, I started hitting up Trent. And then it took a little while for, us to like finally collaborate. But there was a song that Trent had was getting with this other dude, this other rapper, and basically the beat that he was using from somebody else, a different producer other than me, basically wasn't doing it right. I kind of just stepped in there and I was like, I got you, bro. I was like, I got you, bro. I've been doing this for a while. I got it, bro. And then literally we just been pushing him ever since. So
Now, did you start off when you were a young child playing musical instruments? How did you?
Here's the thing. I've always been into music, but like I've never had the patience to sit and like learn the instrument. But my uncle had, you know, GarageBand on his iPad, right? So it's like
I have it on my iPhone 4.
yeah, literally, it's really old stuff. It started years and years ago, but like ever since that, like I fell in love with it. I wanted to do it so much, so I ended up finding this website called Audio Tool online, and then that's where I really started just producing and making beats. At first, I just wanted to make dubstep. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make electronic, like EDM type stuff. But then, you know, over time it evolved, and now I'm more into trap, and I'm getting really. I'm pretty good at this point. Like I'm pretty fire at this point. So in terms of
in music, what gets you excited?
What gets me excited?
Yeah.
Different. I like different sound.
Okay.
Like I want to be able to like, I want to you know, I don't know, just something that you never heard before. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it to be unique, and you know, it's also, you know, go with everything else at the same time. You know, what's popping, what's popular, but I also want to, you know, make it unique so it can be easily distinguished.
Put your own signature on it.
Yeah, basically. So that's what it's really all about for me right now.
Are you happy being the man behind the scenes, getting it all put together, or do you want to be the guy in front of the microphone in front of people?
I do make my own songs, but currently with the way things are looking, like I'm trying to look at things realistically and like, you know, business point of view. Like I think it's smarter to just mostly focus on him right now. You know what I'm saying? Getting his numbers up, because I got him, he has me, we're fine. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's great. That's great.
How it works.
How do you fit into all this?
I just I know these guys. All right. I don't know music, but
That's good, Jim.
I just enjoy hanging out with these guys.
Well, they seem like fun guys to hang around with. I mean, the generation gap is you guys are my kids' age, but I actually like hanging out with my kids too.
Yeah.
And you guys are cool to hang out with, and of course, this all ties in together because David started training Tristan and met him and met you guys, and it's kind of cool to see this tree of people.
Yeah.
Tree of talented people in different areas.
Yeah. I really feel like
feeding off of one another.
It's like all this, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like success is almost like a virus, almost like you catch it. I don't know. It's weird how it works. It's like the way it spreads like a web. It's very interesting. It's very deep, very interesting. I love it.
It is. You know what it is? It's a mindset.
Yeah, it is.
People
I
don't
believe that.
People don't understand that. We just did mindset a couple of weeks ago, and I had a hypnosis therapist in here. And I've been reading books on success, listening to speakers on success, and chasing success my entire life.
Believe it or not, I've been training myself a lot in just the words that I speak. You know what I'm saying? Like things I say, what my mind is focusing on at the moment. You know, if something negative happens to me, instead of having a negative response, I have a positive response. You know, everything is really deep. Like if you have a positive response to everything, like it starts to become a habit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Once it's made habit, like it's something you can't unlearn. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just like that. I don't know.
It's so profound, and I think that as we go through this journey through your life, from being children to being teens to being young adults to being, middle-aged, somewhere along the line, most people's negative experiences jade them, and they start to let those negative experiences govern their life more than positive experiences. And the truth is, in life, you're going to have more negative experiences than positive, so it's very easy to fall into that trap. So if you can focus on the 20% of the experiences of your life that are positive, you have more of them.
Yeah, I definitely realized that, like, being happy and, like, being, like, content with everything is, like, it's like a hobby, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, like, practice being happy, you know what I'm saying? It's not something, like, you can't just expect something outside of yourself to, like, make you happy, you know what I'm saying? It all comes down to, like, you.
There's
comes out.
Absolutely, and there are going to be 10 things that happen in your morning that piss you off before you even get to work, if you let it.
Oh, yeah, I was grumpy
if you let
this
it.
morning.
And you gotta block the noise out.
Yeah, basically.
And focus on the goal. And you have to make positive, present tense statements about what you are and who you are, as opposed to what you want to be. Because if you say, I am this, it'll manifest itself.
Yeah,
exactly.
In terms of, like, negativity, I have no problem with it. Like people saying stuff towards me. Like, I'll literally post a post on Instagram and I'll be like,
Do you have any haters yet?
oh yeah.
Oh, good. Then you're making it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, hey, if you don't like this song, call me trash, because I just know it's gonna get me more comments, more views. So I'm like, just give me some more comments. I have no problem.
Yeah, you want to call me young trash? You want to call me young trash? Whatever you want to call me. But guess what? I'm making music. You ain't.
Exactly. I've never had a problem with it. It's always been funny to me.
How many hours a day are you dedicating to your craft right now? To your craft.
Okay. Well, certain days we'll be in the studio for like 10 hours.
Okay.
And then
That's it.
Then other days, it's like, you know, like 2-3 hours. But usually we're together for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna challenge you to some things that I think are important.
Okay.
10 hours should be your minimum day right now.
Okay.
That's true.
You got to live it.
Mm-hmm.
You alluded to you don't really want to play small gigs where people already know you. I'm going to tell you something. You playing out in public is a different animal than recording.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter how good you are, you're going to screw up in the beginning. You might as well screw up in front of the people that already love you.
Yeah.
That is facts.
That makes sense.
That's fact. You need to get out there. You need to play. You need to make the mistakes. It's like riding a bicycle for the first time. You're not going to go in a BMX bike before you ride around your neighborhood and fall down in your neighbor's yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, you're going to fall in your neighbor's yard and you skin your knee. You want a neighbor to pick you up and help you. You don't want to do that out of on the big show.
Yeah, because I mean, you need practice no matter what you're doing.
You need, and then there's practicing, and then there's actual application, which is like another level of practice.
Yeah.
And so I challenge you to start finding small venues and play and play and play and play and play, and just get yourself to a point where you can be somewhere every week.
Yeah.
And get that cult following, that small cult following that no matter what, you could completely bomb, and they're going to come back for you next week because they know that's not trying. That's just you're bomb, and you have to bomb. You have to bomb a couple of times so that you know how to fix that.
Yeah, of course.
So you know how to correct. It's like driving a vehicle. I was with my kids in the car during the snowstorm, and my car went into a sideways skid, and I pulled myself out of it. I'm 46 years old. I've been driving for longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had a little flashback in my mind to being 16, 17 in high school, and I went into a skid like that and I ended up in an accident because I hit the brakes and I panicked.
Yeah.
Right? When you can pull yourself out of a skid on stage, that's gold.
Yeah.
That's power. And you don't want to do that for the first time when you're opening up for a huge act that brought you along, and then you bomb and like, oh, man, we brought you along, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
So you gotta work those kinks out,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do that, I think you're gonna find that your trajectory is like this.
Yeah.
And if you're in there every day perfecting it, you got 7 songs out. You need to put that out every month. Yeah, 7 songs.
Song a week.
7 songs
a song a week.
I just don't want to oversaturate it because like
you don't have to put it out to everybody. You can market private.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of like a 30-day challenge, like a song a day for a whole month. I was like,
And Mastermind,
the ones you want.
Think and Grow Rich, which is one of my favorite books, and it is about making it. Doesn't matter what it is. It was about making it in business. But one of the first things Napoleon Hill talks about in that book, and everybody should read it who wants to make it in life, is having what's called a mastermind alliance, which means being with other people that are successful or are where you want to be in life and being able to spend time with them regularly. And it might not even be in the same discipline.
Yeah.
So you might have a guy who's in business and a guy who's an athlete and a guy who's a musician, but they're talking constantly and they're bouncing stuff off of each other. And you'll find that your creativity level will go up the more you're in a room with other people.
Yeah, that's like what I found being with him, Tristan, like the way like everyone's work ethics are like just.
And your brainwaves start bouncing off of each other,
Yeah.
and it takes you to that next level. So if you can put yourself in a position where you commit to a schedule where you're playing,
Yeah.
and you commit to putting out content on a more even more consistent basis, based on what I've seen you do so far, there's no stopping you.
Yeah.
The only thing that'll stop, the only thing that stops talented people is themselves.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of insecurity can just kind of paralyze you, or overanalyzing, what I call paralysis by analysis. You just keep analyzing. Should I do this? Just do it. Just do what's the worst thing that happens.
Yeah.
You can screw up. Nobody cares. And when you get to that finish line, when you're big, no one's going to care about those first 10 screw ups. As a matter of fact, those first 10 screw ups might be your biggest selling things.
And they make you look like you're human, so it's like no one has a problem with that.
Makes you look more
And
relatable.
this one thing I'll say about the social media age
Yeah.
that is really fantastic is people dig authenticity.
Yeah.
People want real.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that reality TV was anything but real.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And now but the people that wanted reality TV wanted real. Now they're on YouTube. Now they're watching Tristan.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're watching you.
Because YouTube is actually reality. Like, that's
It's just
that's as close as you're going to get to someone else's reality.
And then document your journey. You know,
Yeah.
have those cameras rolling when you wake up in the morning. Have those cameras rolling when you're going in and making stuff. And then you pick the snippets of the stuff that's good, and you have a new piece of content without having to create it.
Yeah.
Because it's already there. The song that you made that sucked and you scrapped it, but the first 10 bars were pretty good. Yeah, that one's gone. And people are like, yeah, that one didn't suck. You say that one sucked. Yeah, that one sucked pretty bad. So there's value in that.
Yeah.
And there's value, especially because you are young and you're going to go through this journey. What's going to happen is your audience is going to mature with you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so if you take them with for that journey, they're going to appreciate that ride. And someday when you're sitting in a chair and you're 45 or 50, if you brought them along for the ride, they're going to be very loyal.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And
Loyalty is the most important thing.
I mean, look at Snoop. Okay,
Yeah.
look at Dre. Look at all these guys that pioneer. But then what they did is they went and they found other people, and what they produced matured and changed over time as well. And I guarantee you, that guy wouldn't write the same songs today that he wrote back when he was 18 that made him famous, because that's not what's in his heart anymore.
Yeah,
And
different experience.
And there's even been interviews where he says, that's not in my heart anymore. He'll perform it, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But the people that went along for the journey get that. And so I think that's a really, really big piece of that. Hey, have you collaborated with other writers yet?
Other writers?
Yeah, other musicians, other write stuff together.
No, not really. Never like other writers.
So you need a hot chick to sing with.
Usually I write like
I need a
hot-
female vocal.
Yeah, you need a hot chick to sing with. You do.
Well, you have collabs. That's what I mean. Not
Yeah,
just
like I've
writers,
done
you use artists
collaborations
too,
and
yeah.
stuff. I just never wrote with anyone. But yeah.
So someone else wrote it and you went and sang it?
Well, only him
Gotcha.
right now. Like that's the only person I would trust, because like I just know like what he's going through is just like I'm with him so much that I can feel what he's going through. Like if I'm like
I don't write all of his songs.
Yeah,
I only write
I
like a very
write-
select few.
I
Like,
write
at least,
basically
like,
on my songs.
I wrote like one song and then I helped on another song.
Yeah. But basically, I write everything. I don't even write most of my things. Like, a lot of them is freestyled, and then, like, I just kind of fill in words if I didn't think of anything. But
That's kind of what we do. Like, we basically, get everything recording. Then we start off with a cool freestyle. It's like really lame, really trash, but we find the flows within it.
Yep.
And then we write along.
And
to
then it
it.
develops. Yeah, it
Yeah,
develops.
you just
into
take pieces like that You song that I showed you earlier. It's like, I don't think I wrote a single thing from that song.
Well, let's check that one out. I want to hear that one again, because that was.
My hero.
I let you be alone, and I'm so trapped all on my own. It's like I'm stuck without a home. I need some love, I'm on my own. And baby, I'm falling for you. 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 And darling, I need you. Your heart is see-through. I'm here to free you. I'll never leave you. I will give you all of me. I'll take you to a fantasy. And in the end, it's you and me. We'll go to death, make history. I let you be alone, and I'm so trapped all on my own. It's like I'm stuck without a home. I need some love, I'm on my own. And baby, I'm falling for you.
Literally,
good, though.
Literally,
In the beginning, we were working on cause we would write and we wouldn't really, because now we're getting to the point where we're starting to really formulate the song, you know, putting in an intro, you know, the hook, and then we have, you know, the middle verse, and then we got the hook again. And, you know, we're starting to formulate into like the actual songs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're trying to do it right, you know?
Yeah, before it was more just like we were trying to put ideas together, but it's like we didn't know that much, so it's harder, but...
It's a craft. It's a craft that you learn,
Now that we know the format that we have to use, what's going to do well, like the songs that are going to do well, we need to keep pushing those, and then obviously make other versatile things so that we keep every audience interested. Like, I want to do everything. Like, that's my goal. I would like to do R&B. I'd like to do hip hop. I'd like to do pop. Everything. Like, that's.
You were a choir boy, right?
Yeah.
All the way through high school. You went to Tremper here in Kenosha. So then you had Mrs. Amborn.
Yep. Loved her.
Yeah, you guys got a good look.
Thank you.
And you got a good sound, and you got a great attitude.
Yeah.
And I think that if you just push a little harder, you're going to come out that other side where you start making some money.
Yeah.
It's that push until then. You're going to have to eat shit for a little while until then.
Oh,
You know, you're going to have to just...
No.
But that's the thing. If you can play small venues and they'll put a little money in your pocket, and you can take that money and reinvest in doing more stuff.
Yeah.
That's facts, bro. We do need to start getting more money in.
It'll work, and collaborating with other people can help because sometimes you need that little push. But I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what you've done so far, and I look forward to seeing you do great things.
Thank you.
It's gonna be crazy.
It is
It's gonna be wild. This is like the beginning of the journey, I feel like.
It is. Like I've been doing this for like almost 2 years now, but like it just started. That's how I feel.
It's a
about
long
it.
journey.
When you're 5 years in, you have just started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
This
right now.
is a marathon and not a sprint. And you just ran a mile, and you're like, man, I ran a whole mile. We got 25 more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, literally.
You got 25 more. You're not going to feel like you're running downhill with the wind to your back till you get to about mile 19.
I'd like to have 25 more years where I'm making music. Like I'd love to just be an artist for the rest of my life. Like I'm like 30, 40, as long as I can go.
Just don't quit and you'll do it.
I plan on doing like lots of stuff. Like I don't know, cause I'm not like just into music. Like I'm like an all around artist. Like 2D art. Like I can draw like almost picture perfect. It's just kind of in my blood. So like I want to do like clothing lines, pictures, actual I want to do actual murals that I make. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to push out content, really, everything. Cause I know I have a talent. I've always had a born talent because. I don't know, like, any time I draw it is only usually at school, and I've always drawn better than everybody at school, and I only draw at school.
That's a confidence.
What do you draw?
That's a confidence you need.
What do I draw?
Yeah.
Realism, pencil, graphite.
Gotcha.
I could do.
And what are your subjects? You draw fantasy? You draw pictures of things you see?
I really like realism. I really like picture perfect things. You know what I'm saying? Like making it look almost perfectly real. You know what I'm saying?
Like with humans or something, or
You should see the picture I drew. It's probably my best picture I've ever drawn.
That is a talent that I am envious of because I don't possess. I have the eye for it, but not the hand.
Yeah.
Which is why photography has been more and more appealing to me nowadays because I can create it without having to create it with my hand.
Yeah.
Video, same
That's
thing.
why I really like FL Studio, like the software where I produce like music and stuff like that. Because even though I was never able to teach myself how to play like an instrument, because I mean I went to St. Joe's and I went to St. Mark's and like their music stuff like costed extra money. I mean it wasn't like at the public schools you can just get in there free, get an instrument free.
just join choir.
Yeah, like I couldn't do that. Like I had to pay, so like my parents never put me in none of that. So I never really had an opportunity where like I had a teacher teach me how to like make
Well, you do now.
use instruments. Yeah, I taught myself. I taught everything myself, and I'm glad to say it. So honestly,
It's awesome.
I'm fine. I make good music.
If you could do any genre of music in the past, you pick a time period before you were born.
I already know exactly what I'd say.
What would you do?
Man, I wish I would have made music like the Beatles. That would be awesome.
I thought you were about to say
Yeah,
Michael
that'd be
Jackson.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would love if I was able to.
What's your favorite Beatles song? What would you sing if you're gonna do a Beatles song?
favorite Beatles song? For the benefit of Mr. Kite.
For the benefit of Mr. Kite. There you go, hit it, Trent. We're gonna
not gonna sing
Come
it.
on, man. We got the lyrics and everything. Come on. Come on, sing it. Oh, that was
You
not
can
there.
see that like style comes back. It's crazy.
It's got the lyrics and everything. Let's see.
I don't even every lyric in this song.
The words gonna be right on there for you. After this word from our sponsor, Vimeo.
Thanks for the
There's
sponsorship.
no way I can sing this right now.
Come on.
The Beatles are real life singers. There's no way I can't do that.
I would do it, but I don't know this one.
No,
It's a good
never
song.
heard it.
A little. Oh yeah. You gotta sing this one karaoke? Oh shoot.
See, my favorite version of this one is the Joe Cocker version, the remake of it. You guys know the difference between the two, but that's because I grew up watching The Wonder Years. You guys ever seen that show?
Before our time.
It sounds so familiar.
You know what it is?
I know what it is, but
That sounds so familiar. The Wonder
That
Years.
sounds familiar, but I don't
No,
know.
no, I was thinking of a band. It's called The Wonder Years.
What would you do if I sang out of tune and walk out on me? Come on. Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Ooh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends.
that's facts. That was a song.
We gotta go in the studio and record that and double over it. Would that be great?
let's do it.
All right,
Wow.
let's do it. I knew there was a song in there somewhere.
Smash hit.
Beatles are so fun.
This is the only Beatles song that I like the cover better than the original.
Really?
Yeah, have you ever heard the cover?
No.
We won't be able to play it on the show because it's totally copy. We won't be able to do that one because it's not the original tracks. But let's. This is the best cover of somebody else's song ever. Oh, I want to hear the real.
I also really but I like Queen.
Love Queen.
I like
man.
I just watched that Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen the
was it?
movie.
It was good, bro. It was good.
I like
They say he
Queen.
had the best vocals of all time. I don't know how they compute that.
They said that he had the best vocals of all time, specifically because he had 4 extra teeth in his mouth and his lip was like this.
Freddie Mercury did?
I think the dude from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Freddie
The
Mercury.
real Freddie Mercury, yeah.
So I don't know, it did something to his voice where he just had he hit a higher.
Well,
Did you? But I'll tell you what. When they hired Adam Lambert off American Idol, went on tour with him, that was as close as it gets to the real deal.
Really?
Did you ever hear Adam Lambert sing with Queen?
I remember him, but I don't remember that.
So he won American Idol, or
Yeah.
I think he might have been runner-up. He was runner-up, but he ended up being bigger than the kid that won that year
Yeah.
because Queen picked him up and he went on tour with them.
Damn.
And that was
Actually, I think he came in third.
was it third?
Yeah, because I know David Archuleta came in second that year, and then someone beat him, but I don't remember who.
And I thought that Adam Lambert was better than David Archuleta.
Oh, he was.
It was such a weird,
Yeah,
such
it's
a
like
weird.
that sometimes when you have judges. You don't always get the.
Well, here's the thing. David Archuleta was prettier. That's what it comes down to.
Not only was David Archuleta prettier, but I think that this was how many years ago now?
That was probably 10 years ago almost.
It's 10 years ago, and if I remember correct, Adam Lambert kind of came out in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
I think people still felt awkward about
Yeah.
that. And I think that if that were to happen again right now, I don't think people are as awkward about that.
Oh, not at all.
I think that probably... But I think that's also why Queen would look at him and they're like, dude, we don't care.
Yeah,
we got
someone-
Freddie Mercury.
Someone,
You know?
someone won The Voice a few years ago. He was one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. He was gay, I think.
Nobody cares anymore.
It was
Yeah.
no one. It's whatever.
Can you sing?
It's 2019.
Yeah, you good.
Are you good at what you're supposed to be good at?
Yeah.
It's 2019. I don't care how you. I would what's that song? A Day in the Life. That is one of the craziest songs.
You
I've
know,
ever heard in my
most
life.
of their songs that people listen to, their most popular song is They Never Played Out.
They never played out.
They never played out.
That's
After
the song.
Let It Be, the Beatles never toured again.
Really?
They did not tour any of the Sgt. Pepper songs, any of the White Album songs, any of the Abbey Road songs.
Really?
They never toured those songs. They went and did a rooftop recording of one of the songs one time in London. I believe it was in London. It was either in London or...
Probably in London.
Is either London or LA, one of the two. But they went and just had an impromptu concert on a rooftop. but they were already not getting along. They already had all this weird stuff going on in their personal lives.
Yeah.
John Lennon got married to Yoko Ono, and she was kind of pulling him away from them. They went and saw the Maharishi and kind of dabbled in Eastern religion, and there was talk about going on tour. Then they weren't. Then they were. Then they weren't. Then they broke up. And the White Album, people don't know this unless they really study the Beatles, but the White Album had 4 sides. It was a 2-record album.
Okay.
Each side was for a member of the band because they couldn't agree what to do.
Yeah.
So it's like Paul gets this side, John gets that side, Ringo gets that side, George gets that side. You get to decide what goes on your side. We'll all play along with what you want for your side because they couldn't agree what to do on their album.
That's cool though.
And that's what the White Album was.
That's cool.
And such good songs in there that they did. Back in the USSR, Revolution.
Yeah, I honestly that makes sense because like if I was in a band, I feel like I would probably get to that point too. Like I want to do it like this, you know what I'm saying? And then I bet bands.
I think it's very hard to be in a band because it's like, man,
it's more people.
It's a marriage. It's a 4-way marriage.
Yeah.
You think about that.
Basically.
I'm married. I got to get along with one person every day, and we don't want to do the same thing. Imagine having to get along with 3.
4.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, man, you're on tour. You're not getting away from any of those people.
But look at the bands that have had the staying power to stay together. Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler. I was just watching an interview with Steven Tyler on Joe Rogan. Boy, what a smart guy he is still to this day. The Stones. The big controversy or the big debate was always Beatles or Stones, right? Beatles or Stones. And Stones fans are a little different than Beatles fans in general, right? And everyone says Beatles. And not everyone, but more people say Beatles than Stones. Which in a vacuum, if you look at a 10-year period, you could probably argue that. You could also argue that the Stones had a lot more shit songs than the Beatles. But that's because the Stones had a lot more songs. If you look at the entire catalog of Stones songs, there are more Stones hits than Beatles hits because they put out so many. I mean, they've been playing for 50 years.
Yeah, like
the Beatles played together for less than 10.
Do they still do music?
wild.
Like they put stuff out? Because I know they were on tour a few years ago.
Yes, they still tour. They still, as of a couple of years ago, they don't write as much new stuff as they used to. And there are a lot of the early Stones stuff and the early Beatles songs. When it's all bubblegum rock back in early 60s. It really the Beatles had them. As far as I'm concerned,
because we're like
they
going
had an
into
edge.
like a bubblegum rap type of stage right now.
Yep.
It's weird. Everything like repeats itself, but in different ways.
Well, bubblegum rock kind of reinvented itself as alternative in the 90s. If you listen to all like Green Day and all those, it was almost like a caricature of bubblegum rock.
Yeah.
It was a parody of bubblegum. All of it was. And I liked it because it's got that really basic 4-chord progression song. It's the same 4 chords in every song. If you ever play guitar, there's a couple of chord progressions that if you learn to play it, you can sing 15 songs from those 4 chords.
But the thing is, it just makes you feel a certain type of way. Like it's not even about any. Like it doesn't matter how many chords a person.
It makes you feel good inside.
Yeah, you just
That's
feel
because
it.
like our bodies are like made up of water, and like all music is really just vibration. So your body's like, you know what I'm saying?
Emotion.
Like real, that's real facts. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it sounds really do affect you because they have different wavelengths and different frequencies, they mess with your water differently. Sometimes if you have like really distorted, distressed sounds, like it can make like I've seen like pictures of like what it does to like crystallize things. Like it's weird. Like if it's like super like distorted, it's like super like grimy, disgusting. But if you have something beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Like it makes like a beautiful pattern. It's weird. It was what I was looking at. It was crazy.
He looks at some very odd things, but they're always very interesting.
No, I like it.
Yeah,
It's the internet, bro. It's crazy.
it's crazy. You can learn, you can almost learn 4 years of college on the internet.
But honestly, it all comes down to your own curiosity. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Arguably, I think one of the golden ages of music is the last generation before electronics came into the scene.
Yeah.
And artists had to create new sounds, but they didn't have electronics to do it yet. So they had to use a lot more creativity.
Yeah.
And the music that came about late 60s, early 70s with the Wurlitzer organs, and it was a combination really of rock and blues and finding new sounds. The stuff that The Who did, the stuff that Jimi Hendrix did, the stuff that Led Zeppelin did, the stuff that all those guys did. They were pioneering crazy new sounds, and they didn't have synthesizers. They didn't have any sort of computers to create those sounds.
They had like
yet.
these weird devices.
Jimi Hendrix was, man, that's crazy.
Jimi Hendrix might have been the second best guitarist
ever.
only to Prince.
Yeah.
Which is funny because nobody thinks of Prince as a great guitarist because most of his stuff that was commercially popular was him in front of a microphone and not him playing a guitar. And people don't realize. Did you realize Prince
I actually
was
know that.
one of the most gifted guitarists who ever walked the
That
planet?
was a Rolling Stones article. They ranked everybody. I think Jack White was really high up there too from the White Stripes.
There's a legend that a journalist went to Eric Clapton and says, "How does it feel to be the greatest guitarist ever in rock music?" And he said, "I don't know. Ask Prince." And I believe it because Eric Clapton's a pretty humble guy.
Yeah.
And Eric Clapton was still is an amazingly talented guitarist. Do you think that that's lost? Do you think there's going to be a comeback for instruments and instrumentalists and people actually?
Everything.
And that's not to take away from what you're doing at all, but
I've been wanting to get like real life instruments.
Yeah, like I would love to have someone
plays
sit there and play guitar.
My brother plays guitar. I'm trying to record him, but he's in the Marines right now. He's in Cuba right now. So
good for you. Wow, is he at Gitmo?
What?
Guantanamo Bay.
Yes, he is at Guantanamo Bay.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah, doing it, serving, and it's good.
When we get this up and running, you'll have to send him a link.
I will.
Thank you. What's your brother's name?
Cassiano Ruiz.
Cassiano Ruiz. Thank
Shout
you
out
for serving.
Cassiano.
Thank you for serving
shout
our
out
country.
Cassiano, that's my boy. That's my brother.
Cool guy.
He's the only person I'm scared of. I'm serious. Like I'm not scared of nobody except him. He scares me.
And me a little bit.
You?
Yeah, a little bit.
My oldest son Brent is actually right now. He's at the recruiter's office doing his paperwork. He's joining the Navy. So.
I love Brent.
Yeah, it gets kind of tough.
Brent's
like,
so cool.
Because my brother came back for Christmas. You know, he enjoyed Christmas with us, but he's gonna be gone for like another 8 months now. He might have the chance to be stationed out in like Japan, which is kind of cool. But like,
I was stationed in Korea for a year and I loved it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Loved
I
it.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that was in 1993
It's a long time.
to 1994. Yeah. That was a long time ago. But I'll tell you what, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I had a great time.
Yeah.
I partied like a rock star. I worked hard, I played hard, and I was in a band that year.
Really? That's
Because
cool.
they had a band on our bass, and it was kind of like Menudo. You know, when one grows up, they put a new one in it.
Yeah.
Well, this was called Higher Ground, and they had band members that would be getting orders to leave because you're only there for a year. Their tour would be up, and they'd be like, all right, hey, we need a new guitar player. This guitar player is going back to the States.
That's crazy.
So do you, did you like sing or?
I sang.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you play any instruments or have you ever?
No, do you know what they call a guy that hangs around with musicians?
A groupie?
A singer. That's what every band I was ever in. That's the joke that all the instrumentalists play. And I always say, why is it always the guy who doesn't play nothing that gets to be out in front and get?
Because I can't do
It's
that.
weird how it works like that sometimes. You know, sometimes a lot of the background people have a lot of talent, but it's just how it works.
And some of them don't want the spotlight.
Yeah,
they want to
they
play.
don't want the
They
spotlight.
want to make the music. They want to support that.
Yeah.
And they need that guy who will go out there and get the fans to listen to all of our music.
99% of the time, the people in the background have way more talent than the singer. Like they're just unbelievable. Like him, like man, my music would suck if I didn't have.
Look at any dance routine with J-Lo and tell me she's not the least talented dancer in her group.
Of course.
And that's not an insult to her. All right,
Yeah.
but she's brilliant because she knows how to bring them together and she creates the concepts.
That's the thing. Like that's why I want to get like. It's gonna be great when I have my own music video because I'm able to dance too. It's gonna be. I want to be able to like have a whole routine. Like I've always just like freestyle dance, but like, ooh, if I had a routine, I would be going crazy. I would be going so crazy. I'm so excited. I have so many dreams.
You guys need to leverage. You need to leverage other musicians, other genres. Get them to play. Come do stuff with them, even if it's completely out of your comfort zone. It'll make you so good at your music to do that.
Yeah.
What music would you stay with? Is there any style where you're like, I just can't do that?
Probably like hardcore X.
Nah, I just can't. I'm not a rapper. Like that's hard for me, honestly. Like
I think he can rap. He can do rap, but like.
I'm just not. All right, that's the.
I tried to rap with Tristan, and I could only do a Christmas song.
So I am extremely confident in myself, usually, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to rapping, I'm just like, I don't.
It's good. It's
weird.
good practice, bro. You should get used to it. It's nice. You know what I'm saying?
Otherwise, like, I feel like you give me a.
Cause like think about it.
give me a band.
You make your first song with no auto tune and it's completely clean vocals. Well, listen, what do you have to be scared for when you go to perform? Because those are your vocals, straightforward, like straight clean. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna put auto tune on my mic.
Yeah, but for sure on the first our first couple of shows, bro, we won't be at that level where they're putting auto tune on our mics live. You know what I'm saying?
You got to throw out a couple of songs that aren't auto-tuned at all just to get people
Tristan
feeling
did it. You know what I'm saying? He definitely did that.
You need a guy with a guitar and you doing one song that's just totally clean and unplugged. Just one song that you add in the middle of that.
Get like
a Jason Mraz style of
Yeah.
music where you just sit on a stool, sing from the heart.
Yeah,
bro.
See,
Kind of quiet, people, and then you get up and you do all your cool stuff.
I've
that.
loved
I like
rock
that.
music my whole life. Like I love that type of stuff. So it's like I always wanted to have a band just sitting there and like they'll record everything. I'm recording with them. Like I would love to do that one day instead of like I want to still do what I'm doing obviously because that's the future of music. That's what I love. I love like I feel like I'm helping push the future of music and that's awesome. So I want to do that, but I'd also like to go back to the past when it was like everything was real instruments and
You want to give respect to that.
yeah.
Yeah, and you want to, if you can experience that and do that, that's going to help you better create
That's what I
music
grew
the way
up
you're
on.
creating it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite growing up besides the Beatles you said?
I like.
Were you a Guitar Hero kid like my kids? You grew up on Guitar Hero.
I grew up on
I
Guitar
loved
Hero.
Guitar
That
Hero
was a
because
good
it
game.
got my
Taught
kids
it.
interested in my music.
That was
taught
a-
It was
everyone.
the best thing ever.
That was a good game.
It was a great game because now there's no way that your generation would have known Living on a Prayer
Yeah.
or
My mom.
well, that's Slow Ride.
Yeah.
I think that was the first easiest song in Guitar Hero, wasn't it? Slow Ride. That's where you started.
That was a fire song.
Yeah.
I want to play that game again.
I know, right? Let's play that.
For real. They at the what you call it
If I'd have known, I'd have brought it. We could have plugged it in. We could have just got us all
Dude,
playing
that
Guitar
would've
Hero.
that would have been
so
cool.
fun.
It's been such a long time since I played that. I'll be so nostalgic.
When we're both millionaires, we're gonna come back and bring Guitar Hero and we're
Hey, no,
We don't have to
no.
wait that long.
No, this is what we're gonna
That's
do.
true,
We're
that's
gonna
true,
get
that's
one of
true.
those.
That's gonna take a year
We're
or
gonna
so.
get one of those arcade ones. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen the ones in the arcade?
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
have the guitars already on them. We're gonna get one of those and put it in here.
I'm gonna get one of them in my house.
Yeah, there it is, bro. Oh my God, that
Absolutely.
was so
Got to
cool.
have that room. Got to have that
Yeah.
room for it. Let's assume that you make it.
Yeah.
Because if you put your mind to it, you will. So we're 10 years. We're 10 years out. We now have Trench is. You're 19 right now.
Yep.
Trench is 29 years old, sitting on a bigger pile of money than most people have made their entire life. You've done everything you've wanted to do up until this point. What are you going to use your fame and your money for as far as how we influence
I want
the
to start a
world?
record label when I'm at that point in time.
Yep.
That's like my main goal. I want to run some like charity things. That'd be awesome. Like, I mean, like, cause I still believe Tristan will be very big. I think he'll be very big, and it'd be awesome if we all came together, started something crazy, built our own school here, like something like that. We built like a nice homeless shelter that was like, all that stuff would be awesome. I'd love to do something like that.
I want to write a Bible.
You're going to write?
I want to write my own Bible. I'm serious. Like, I'll like towards the end of my days before I die, I want to have my own Bible. That's what I want to have. And basically with all my experiences and everything that I've learned, all into one book. You
So
know
your
what I'm saying?
memoirs so you can teach your life lessons to the people that come behind.
Basically, because I feel like this is what my life is all about. I feel like my purpose is to literally experience as much as I can. Literally experience everything. You know what I'm saying? Take it all in and just make my own opinion on it. How I believe things are supposed to work. Because everything's a perception, you know what I'm saying? So like, I know a lot of people would follow my perception. I have a good perception of how this world
Would
works.
you try anything once?
Try anything once?
What's that?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on what we're trying.
Nah, I'll try it.
But as far as like what I would do if I was like, you know, sitting on a big pile of money, I mean, by that time my mom and dad would probably have a new house by now. Cause I really just want to get to my house. I want to get my mom some surgery.
Yeah.
I want to just help everybody in my circle that I care about most, and then I just want to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Live my life.
make art, make music. You know
That's a
what I'm
big
saying?
goal for both of us. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you with that too.
And I got a similar answer out of Tristan when he was here. The three of you are friends. They say you are the company you keep. You guys all keep good company apparently because all of you seem to have good heads on your shoulders. You are dispelling the myth that young people don't know shit.
Yeah.
All right, because that's the myth out there. And I think that the way your generation communicates is different. And I believe that a lot of people in my generation don't understand how you're communicating. And I believe that is probably the oldest story in the American story is the generation gap. And if we just shut the hell up once in a while and listen to one another, there's a lot to learn from each other.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
you can learn something. I could learn something from a 5-year-old.
Absolutely.
Like, easily.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I mean,
My 7-year-old wrote her first set of lyrics. Well, not her first set, but the first set that my wife actually put out there. I'm not going to show you these lyrics because I just couldn't believe it. There it is. Every time we go on, that's how she spelled adventures.
I was like,
It's always good for us to laugh. Every time we be nice to each other, God will look out for us. They say I am nothing, just nothing. But now I know that I am. I am something, and I know that I am something. I won't let them push me down. And she wants to start a band, by the way.
that's so cool. I love
Those are impressive lyrics.
For a 7-year-old? And I said to my wife, where did she get those? She goes, I asked her because I'm thinking, is there some sort of pain in our daughter's life? And she said, no, I watched the movie Leap about the ballerina, and I watched the movie, I forgot what the other one was, and I was thinking about the stories, and I just kind of made my own story out of it. I said, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about kids. See, I feel like children are one of the most important things to pay attention to because if you think about it, that stage in your life, you're in your most vulnerable stage. You're in the stage of life where you have no responsibility. You have absolutely nothing. So basically, all you have to do is look up. All you can do is look at what you want to be or what you could be.
Yeah.
And those are where dreams really come from. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing because this stems back to childhood. You know what I'm saying? This stems back to how it was when I was a child. It's just staying true to it. Really.
Exactly. I just remember being a little kid and I'd like watch the MTV Music Awards or something. And I'd be like, man, that'd be so cool if I could just be there and like just have a crowd just saying every single word that I'm saying to them, like just right back at me. It'd be so amazing to like just have a huge following and like just.
I remember when MTV had music.
I know,
I didn't
right?
think you're old enough to remember that.
Yeah, yeah. 19. I'm old enough for that. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd put on MTV, and there'd be some.
There were no shows at all on MTV.
Really? Okay.
When I watched it.
It was always
came
in the
out.
morning for me.
When your mom, it came out right around the time that your mom and I think your mom was 1 year ahead of me in school, but we're basically the same age. You're a little older than me.
Hey, my mom. You're old.
Anyway, when MTV first came out, we had to be like 6th, 7th grade, somewhere around there, and it was 24 hours of music videos.
Really?
And before that,
MTV Hits. I know the MTV Hits used to do that.
That's all it was. And right before that, there was a couple of channels over the airways that started playing videos, and all of a sudden MTV came out, and it was like you had to get. And we didn't even have cable in our house yet. Our parents still had all the Milwaukee stations. You turned the antenna one way, all the Chicago stations. You turned it the other way. A big antenna on our roof.
So like. Is that where like Michael Jackson would premiere music videos or something? Because my mom always said she would sit there and wait for the Michael Jackson music videos, and I was like, how could you do that without YouTube? What are you waiting for?
The biggest thing that happened is, and you gotta remember, Michael Jackson was a child star, who all of a sudden grew up and was trying to create his own brand separate from being the boy from the Jackson 5.
Kind of like Justin Bieber almost in a way.
But not in a group.
Except he didn't have any brothers to be in their shadow. And by the way, I never really liked Justin Bieber until he wrote "Love Yourself." That was like the ultimate diss. Love that song. I don't know. Do you ever see the response that they wrote to it?
No.
We'll have to after the show. We'll watch it.
I'm not
It's
gonna
funny
lie.
as hell.
Justin Bieber's probably one of my favorite artists of all time.
There's no shame in that. You know, here's a guy that has had more haters than anybody. Why? Because he's good. You know, I don't know, because he was a child star. That's a lot to deal with, having that kind of pressure at that young of an age.
I mean, kind of like he went through like a little phase in life where he was like kind of being a badass. But to be honest, I feel like I understand it. Like,
he was
like,
did you ever rebel against your parents?
No.
His parents were the media. His parents were society. If you think about it.
Yeah.
He was rebelling against
I
it.
couldn't imagine what I would do 2 years ago with $200 million in my bank account. Oh my God, I would be the worst person ever. Like, it would be crazy.
It would get you
I was
head
so
for a
different
second.
2 years ago. Like,
It'd be hard to control yourself.
I was doing terrible things 2 years ago. So if I had that type of money,
See, this is how I see it. Like, when you're dealing with big things, like, now you're dealing with, like, I don't know, like, say, like, big, large amounts of money, a lot of houses, you know, when you have a lot of something, like, it's just more to deal with.
And no one tells
it's
you no.
more pressure. It's just more
It is. It's a different level of problems, but it is still problems, and it is still a mental challenge on you.
Yeah.
So Michael Jackson comes out of this challenge where he lived a very, very difficult childhood.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to become his own person. And he did his first album. I can't remember what the first album was, but then he came out with Thriller.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, that completely redefined him. That, you know, he got rid of the hair, you know, and I think that was his first album post Nose Job.
Yeah.
You know, a different look, different hair, different clothes.
And the Jerry
You know,
curl.
he had
crazy.
he literally invented the moonwalk on, I want to say it was either American Bandstand or Soul Train or
invented that?
some shit like that. Yeah.
didn't
Like
know he
on the
invented that.
cuff, there's a video of him you can find on YouTube where it's the first time he ever moonwalked. All of a sudden he just starts walking backwards.
he was on the
And
stage.
people are like, holy shit, right? So he comes out and he does the Thriller video, which was the most expensive music video ever made at the time.
Damn.
And not only did they release the video, but they released almost like a movie called The Making of Thriller when they released it. And we were all crowded around watching it on cable TV,
okay.
watching the first airing of Thriller.
So where would they air something like that? Like, how did people get their music out at that time? Like, on TV, but like, what kind of channel were they airing it on?
Well, that was probably on a pay channel, like an HBO or a Showtime or something like that. I think we had On TV was one of them.
People
Or
paid
Select
for
TV.
music videos?
No, for the most part they didn't. That was a rare because he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
There was a UHF channel called Channel 60. It was Channel 66 that would play music videos a couple hours a day, but that was it. And then MTV came out, and so then you had to get cable. So all of us, and people don't think that kids drive markets. You know, I've had this conversation with so many people about Tristan, and I talk about the number of followers. I'm like, yeah, but who's watching him? I'm like, 10-year-olds. They're like, so what does that do for him? I'm like, 10-year-olds drive markets. When every 12-year-old out there is like, I want cable. Can we please have cable? I want my MTV. Right? Parents listen to that.
Oh man, you can't tell me when you were a 10-year-old you were like, Mom, I just saw something on TV. I need that. I need this.
Yeah, literally,
Of course. I mean,
that's true.
that's why Saturday morning cartoons were loaded with cereal commercials.
Yeah.
Because that's how, Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch or whatever it happened to be.
Yeah.
This has been going, people act like this is something new. This is
Psychology.
nothing new.
Psychology.
The 10 biggest YouTube videos in 2018 were all geared to preschoolers.
That's
The
wild.
10 most watched videos. So you think about that. So here comes MTV, and we're the coming of age teenagers, 12, 13 years old, and boom, we have a channel that is all music 24/7. They had Headbangers Ball every Saturday night, and that was all the. I remember they had the band Accept, and they had a video called Balls to the Wall. And it literally looked like a bunch of guys trying to hump a wall. I have no other way to explain it. You got to put a meme of that in here when we put this out there. It was the craziest shit ever.
Yeah.
And it was all videos. And then they started with a couple of shows. And Real World was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I actually did a collab video with a former Real World star who's a real estate agent in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And those shows, I'll tell you what, they really jacked some people's lives up to make those shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the pressure that they put on them in those reality shows was unbelievable. But then it evolved. And then my favorite, Beavis and Butthead, came out.
Oh Lord.
That show used to scare me as a kid. I didn't like watching that. The animation was creepy.
Testing. Testes. 1, 2, 3.
It would be so weird. Honestly, all that Adult Swim stuff always scared me as a kid. I don't know.
Beavis and Butthead came out when I was in the Air Force. The year that I left to go to Korea, my best friend and I became roommates over there, and his wife, I think they were dating at the time, VHS to Beavis and Butthead Marathon, taped it on VHS and mailed it to us so that we could watch it because they had MTV Asia over there and they didn't have Beavis and Butthead on the Asia version of MTV. They had CNN Asia, so all the TV over there was geared toward the part of the world you're in, and we would just sit and drink and watch Beavis and Butthead at night sometimes. But MTV is, to us, our generation, to the Generation X, what YouTube has become to the millennial generation. It was the place where we all went and consumed our content, but you had to watch it at a certain time. It wasn't on demand.
That's why YouTube's so great. You can just watch it.
Everything is on demand. It is what's cool about this now is even with MTV, the producers of MTV, they were younger, they were more hip, and they were picking cool stuff, but they were still picking. Now the people pick.
Yeah. It's true.
That creates so many more opportunities if you're talented.
Yes.
Because there are so many no talent having POSs out there who just have the right producer.
Yep. Exactly.
And they put their content out there because it fit in a box of what they were trying to sell.
It's kind of like equaling the playing,
It's a level playing field.
Yeah.
You know, if you suck, you're not going to grow.
Exactly.
And if you're good,
And
nobody can stop you from growing. It doesn't matter if you don't have the same political views as a producer. It doesn't matter if you're not the right color for them. It doesn't matter if right now the trendy thing is for gay people and you happen to be straight, so you're not in the trend. Or it could be the other way around. I mean, the trend used to be the other way. It's not, hey, right now we're looking for dudes with short hair and you got long hair. It's, are you good and do people like you? Because if people like you, your numbers go up and you get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you talked about starting a label.
Yeah.
Screw the recording industry. Screw the way labels work now. You can start a label. You can start a label. We can start a label today.
That's what I told him.
And I want to start a label.
Now.
And I want to start a label. I want to start a label. You want to start a label. I think that a collab label where we go and we find talent, that's the future. That's the future. Going and getting, and I don't just mean guys your age. I mean, there might be people in their 40s that are talented, and there might be 9-year-olds. And we go and we just get talent and get talent and get talent and put the content out there on one channel. And when something starts to take off, they can spin off and do their own channel. And, you know, thank you. We don't need to own, you know, this whole idea that a label owns you. Is going to go bye-bye. It's already slowly fading. And they know it, and the protectionism that's going on in Hollywood is crazy. Because if you start talking about this guy's a star, and like, where? Oh, YouTube. And they'll kind of like, they'll wrinkle their nose at it like you're not really a celebrity. But yeah, there are YouTube celebrities making way more money than their people because they tell you how much you can make over there.
But, like, I don't know. I've been to a lot of, like, label meetings and stuff with my friend Honcho because, like, he's a pretty big artist. Like, I've been to Interscope and everything, and like they try to do this thing where they offer you a 360 deal, and it's like the worst thing anyone could ever take, right? But no one realizes it because they hear, oh, I'm gonna get $10 million, but with a 360 deal, it's like you get $10 million. If you don't make $10 million by the time
they don't give you $10 million. They spend $10 million on you. And if you don't make that $10 million back, you get shit.
You owe them.
Yeah.
Like so, like, say you don't
get that, like that $10 million never happens.
It's like selling your soul.
You're in debt.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
You just made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
And you don't need to. You don't need the $10 million to make it big anymore.
There's just like
kids though. They like do this. The kids don't think about it. They're like, cool, I'm gonna get $10 million. That's all they think.
And they have uninformed parents who don't understand how social media works. And that's what happens is parents hear something that's more traditional. And they're like, oh, you're getting signed. Yeah, let's do that. And so they're giving their kids shit advice. And it's happening all over the place because they don't understand that they don't need them. As a matter of fact, if they're making you an offer, you already don't need them. You're already big enough. I think we should be rethinking labels. And what I mean by that is the new label isn't a record company. All these labels are based on the old paradigm that it was a record company distributing the content. We don't need that. You need to be able to create content, which you're doing in your house. You need to be able to distribute content, which you can do with SoundCloud and YouTube and Facebook and Apple Music and Spotify. And you need to have talent, and which you have, and or find additional talent. But I think the more talent that we take and attract and put into one funnel.
It becomes more solid.
The bigger the wider the audience is, and what will happen is we might have a 19-year-old country singer who people come and listen to, and then they see our channel, and then they say, "Oh, look at this Trent guy," and they listen to that. And so what you're doing is creating a label within social media. That's just it's not really, it's a brand. A label's just a brand. And you can create a brand without using the traditional label setup. And you can create contracts that are common sense contracts that people can get into and get out of, that are fair to the people that are helping you get started, but aren't unfair to the artist either.
I'd say basically, like right now, I don't think labels are necessary in any way, unless like obviously you want to get like just money from it. But like, I think labels are totally unnecessary. You can do everything on your own with social media now. Like if you can figure out the way to market yourself and like just make yourself your own brand, like you're good. Like you don't need to worry about getting help from a label or anything. Like I've seen people go from 10,000 followers to almost 1 million followers in a year.
Yes.
Like it's all about just figuring out how to market yourself. That's all that matters. You don't need anyone to help you.
But you have very talented artists who might not necessarily be talented marketers.
Yeah.
And so your talent as a marketer, so your talent as marketers has value to other artists.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've already been there, if you can help them get there, you're helping yourself too. And the cool thing is it doesn't.
That's basically me and him.
It doesn't cost you anything.
No, we're all
because
free.
people have been giving their attention to other people for free for years. So this idea that, hey, if you're a brand, if I'm big, okay, and you're a brand and you want to put your brand on my platform, you're going to pay.
Yeah.
But if you're a creator and you want to put your content on my platform, you're not going to pay. Instead, I'm going to decide whether or not I like your content. If I like your content and I think that my viewers are going to like your content, I will put your content on my platform.
Yeah.
And in exchange for that, I own that content, but I don't own all your content.
Yeah.
I only own the content that I produced for you and promoted for you, and we're going to split it fairly. I don't own all of it because it's still your intellectual property. And I think there's a way to collab on that where some people might come and join and never leave because they realize that reaching your audience today of 7 million or 10 million or 3 million, whatever it is better than them having to go get 10 million from scratch. It fast tracks them.
It's just a lot quicker.
It fast tracks them. And you say, here's the deal. You're in, but you're not in forever. You're in, but we're not in on all your merch. We're not in on, because that's what they're doing with these young artists now is they're in on everything. It's like they're in on your merch. They're in on your recordings. They're in on your concerts.
They're in on you.
You're agreeing to do a tour when they tell you to tour, where they tell you to tour, how they tell you to tour, and they own you.
It's your life.
And
you're a slave to music.
And it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
It really doesn't.
And the worst part is they know it, and they're just trying to grab up as much as they can while the getting's good because the record label, the media company as it exists today is going to become extinct. I truly believe that. And with that, we are out of time for this week's Get Real with Ralph. But I definitely want to continue this conversation after. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. You are going to love the music. Tune in to Young Trench here. Very talented musician from Kenosha. Go see him on SoundCloud. Go watch him on YouTube. Go watch. Do you have stuff independent of Trench as well? Or?
Yeah, I got my own SoundCloud, Yoden22.
Yoden22 has his own SoundCloud as well. Go watch their stuff. Shout out to them and let them know that you saw them here on Get Real and that you got introduced to this. If it's not your genre, go watch it anyway. Have your kids watch it. And I think that you'll be very impressed. Thanks a lot for tuning in to Get Real with Ralph.